Unlock your inner winner. We're going to talk about Scientology. It's Kennedy and Suits, KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. Now, there was a time that if you just said that, you'd be sued for 10 years, like Time Magazine. And these guys fly lawyers into your jurisdiction at the drop of a criticism. And
let's get ready for the lawyers, Brian. There was a 3-part series in the St. Petersburg Times. It was linked on the Drudge Report, and we had a little free time on our hands, so we read all 3 parts. And I have to tell you, it was fascinating. This is all about the Church of Scientology, and we have read many in-depth pieces about the church, about its leaders, about its
soul leader. A terrific one in Rolling Stone.
Yeah, that
one
2
years ago.
A few years ago. And I remember a guy who was constantly quoted in that article. At the time, he was, I believe, the spokesperson for Scientology, Mike Rinder. And it was so funny. The author made note of how many times he swore and how emphatically he swore, and as though he had been directed to do so, as if someone had told him it would make him sound tough. And so this guy dropped F-bombs and GDs and any swear word he could possibly work, awkward as it was at the time, into every single phrase. And the article was fascinating. So I was so excited to hear that there was a new 32-page, 3-part series out on the Church of Scientology. And it's a fascinating read.
And it's getting reaction all around the world. It went Sunday, Monday, and then today in the St. Petersburg Times, picked up all around the world, where Scientology is on trial right now in France, luckily, and even in India, where it's in the headline. They said, religion of Tom Cruise and John Travolta exposed. And so any excuse to play Tom Cruise at any sort of Scientology event is a good day as far as I'm concerned. And I don't know if this is one of these events where they're wearing naval uniforms, but this is one of the things about Scientology at their upper echelons in Clearwater, Florida, where they're headquartered, or at the office building here outside in L.A., where they play musical chairs all night long. They wear naval uniforms. So if you can imagine an audience wearing naval uniforms.
And why, you ask, why are they in naval uniforms? Well, the founder of the Church of Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard, referred to himself as the Commodore.
A documented liar. He claimed to be a combat veteran of World War II as a naval officer.
See, that is the kind of thing you would latch onto that would make you so upset. Other people might just gloss over that, but as a combat veteran yourself, there's something about that when people have bald-faced lies.
Whether it's Brian Dennehy or L. Ron Hubbard saying, yeah, I was in the S. There I was, knee-deep in grenade pans.
Brian Dennehy lied about serving in Vietnam?
Yeah, he lies about being a Vietnam combat veteran.
I didn't know that. And he was not in Vietnam?
Whereas Dennis Franz, you can't get him to talk about it. He was a combat Marine in Vietnam. But here's Tom Cruise, who's a veteran of many movies that have to do with war.
These are the times now, people, okay? These are the times we will all remember. Were you there? What did you do? I think you know that I am there for you. And I do care so very, very, very much. So what do you say? We're going to clean this place up? Huh? Okay.
I'm sold. Where do I sign?
Okay. All right. To LRH.
LRH, of course. By the way, he's standing at attention saluting a portrait of L. Ron Hubbard. That's LRH.
That's LRH.
So I don't know how mentally weak you have to be or unable to ask questions, but it's not a surprise to me that this religion / money-making scheme preys on moronic actors, people who stand there and read someone else's lines and don't even get it right the first time.
To LRH.
LRH. Okay, now there is something about... I'm truly fascinated by Scientology. I'm fascinated for a number of reasons.
Then join it.
No, I already have a religion that I'm very happy with. But
do you have to pay more money to get more knowledge in your religion?
No, I think if I wanted more knowledge about my religion, I would read more books about it.
Do they have secret text that you have to pay to read?
There is no secret text, no.
Well, what the hell kind of religion is that?
But the thing about my religion is there are texts within my religion that other parts of the religion disagree are part of it. And they have scholars who get PhDs who argue with one another about the meaning of these texts and whether or not they are relevant to the religion as a whole.
Was your religion made up in the mid-50s?
Not the 1950s.
Were souls put into a volcano that was then blown up with nuclear bombs?
Not yet.
Well, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Okay, but the thing about Scientology that fascinates me, there are a couple things. One, for some people, it truly does work. And for some people, it makes them really, really happy. And I feel about Scientology the way I feel about swinging. I think it's dirty and kind of yucky, but if it makes you happy and you're not imposing it on me, then have at it, and I will guiltily watch it on a Saturday night on HBO.
But I think those people are such blank slates mentally that I think you could lead those people to a Visalia onion patch and say, one of these onions is God, it's your job to find it, and they would derive as much joy picking onions for free until they found the great onion of the flying spaghetti monster. If you told them that was indeed, and that his noodly appendage touched them, and that was indeed a religion, I think these people are mentally weak. I think it's Scientology or meth.
See, but the people make that case about every religion, so for that reason, people who are Christians, people who are Jews, Muslims, Hindus, Zoroastrians, whatever, there will always be the argument made by atheists and some agnostics that people who cling to any religion are just mentally weak. And those who have a religious life will tell you, that has nothing to do with it. Faith is separate from intellect. And, that's a different story for a different day. And for some people, it does work. And the thing I think I'm most fascinated...
But we got to get the musical chairs, though.
The thing I'm most fascinated by, the rituals, the language, the vocabulary...
The naval uniforms?
The naval uniforms, the devotion, the defensiveness, all these things that go into Scientology that, this church has tried to keep itself a mystery from people who don't understand it and choose not to delve so deep into it where apparently you have to understand. That's the only way to understand it. And I think that reading more about it and shedding some light on it isn't as harmful to the church as they fear. So I think it's very fair to have an open discussion about it, especially when you read long stories like this in the St. Petersburg Times.
And a lot of this stuff happened in L.A. One of the guys that you'll hear from, Marty Rathbun, said that at LAX, one staffer threw another staffer against the hood of a cab. A crowd gathered. The guy cocked his fist and told him to improve his attitude. Meanwhile, at the office building outside of L.A., I guess in 2004, the head of Scientology, David Miscavige, had kept more than 30 members of his church's executive staff cooped up for weeks in the small office, not letting them leave except to grab a shower. They slept on the floor. Their assignment was to develop strategic plans. And so to prove their devotion, he decided they had to win at musical chairs.
And if they didn't win, the losers would be banished to the ends of the earth, stripped away from their families if they lost at musical chairs. And so, according to this article, there was a room full of grown, at least semi-rational adults fighting one another to Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody for chairs.
Oh, throughout the night. Not just one round. Not just one round of musical chairs to Bohemian Rhapsody, but they played this throughout the night, parading around a conference room in their Navy-style uniforms, grown men and women. Now, in a real religion, you play Duck, Duck, Goose.
Is this the real life?
Oh, no, there's only one chair for the two of us. But okay, here
but that's
we go.
not even the physical part.
No, the most interesting thing about this is there was a culture of violence that somehow everyone there adhered to. They would all participate in it. They wouldn't fight back, especially if the COB, the chairman of the board, David Miscavige, if he was punching you, it was somehow an honor, and people wouldn't defend themselves. And this article was, it drew on the experiences of 4 former Scientologists who were so high up in the organization, Mike Rinder being one of them, who was interviewed for the Rolling Stone piece, who kept swearing. Marty Rathbun was another, Amy Scobie, and a guy named Tom DeVoe.
And they say that they also attacked colleagues to demonstrate loyalty to Miscavige, the head of Scientology, David Miscavige, and prove their mettle. So it's more like the mob.